Welcome to Testify. Today we take a look at the Book of Nahum. Nahum is a book about Israel's worst oppressor, which is Assyria and their capital, Nineveh. The Assyrians, one of the world's first great empires, destroyed the entire northern kingdom of Israel. The Babylonians rose up and began a rebellion that overtook Nineveh and brought down the Assyrian Empire. Chapter 2 describes the fall of Nineveh, while Chapter 3 describes the downfall of Assyria. Nahum Chapter 1. Nineveh as a symbol for all arrogant empires. Chapter 1 opens up describing God's anger to confront evil and how he won't leave evil unpunished. The rest of the chapter speaks of the fate of the arrogant, violent nations with the fate of God's faithful remnant. While God brings down all the arrogant empires, he will also provide refuge for those who humble themselves before him. For Nahum, the fall of Nineveh is an example of how God won't allow arrogant or violent empires to endure forever. Assyria stands in a long line of violent empires throughout history, and Nineveh's fate is a memorial to God's commitment to bring down the arrogant in every age. Nahum Chapter 2-3. The downfall of Assyria. In Chapter 2-3, the book continues by putting its focus back on Assyria. Chapter 2 describes the battle at Nineveh and the overthrow of the city in different stages. We see the front line of Babylonian soldiers, the chaos on the city walls as the city is breached, the slaughter of Nineveh's people, and finally, the plundering of the city. Chapter 3 describes the results of the city's downfall or the empire as a whole. Nahum announces a distress upon the city, whose kings built it with the blood of the innocent, an image of how injustice was built into the very system that made the nation successful. Their violence has sown the seeds of their own destruction, and so Assyria will fall before Babylon. The book concludes with a taunt against the fallen king of Assyria, who's stricken with a fatal wound. No one from any of the nations it has oppressed offers help. Instead, they celebrate Assyria's demise, and that's where the book ends. Nahum addresses the cycles of human violence, oppression, and suffering. Human history is filled with tribes and nations, elevating themselves and using violence to take what they want, always resulting in massive loss of innocent lives. The Book of Nahum, using Assyria and Babylon as examples, says that God is grieved and cares about the death of the innocent, and that his goodness and justice compels him to orchestrate the downfall of oppressive nations. God's judgment of evil is good news, unless, of course, you happen to be Assyria. This brings us all the way back to the conclusion of that first chapter. The Lord is good, a refuge in the day of distress. He cares for those who take refuge in him. God grieves over death, but his goodness and justice compel him to orchestrate the downfall of oppressive, destructive nations. The book invites readers to humble themselves before God and trust that he will confront every oppressor. That brings us to the end. Please join us for more.